Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
So I'm like, what comic books are you reading?
Well, tonight we are reading some more indie comics, Kelly. Thank you for asking. You tone it down a little bit. We can hear you just fine. We're right here. Hi, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com, Chief Envelope Licker for Critical Blast Logistics, myopic proofreader for Critical Blast Publishing, and whatever else comes down the way, I'm sure I will find a part to play in that as well. Tonight, we are back into the world of crowdfunded comics. We are moving over to Kickstarter tonight for the second issue. Actually, the third, if you count that. It's 0 issue, so depends on where you start. Are you an Oracle guy, a SQL Server guy? Where do you start counting? For Echoes of the Triumphant, and we have with us from Reverb Comics, Mr. Pat Murphy. Pat, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Man, you know what? I'm doing good. It's I feel like it's a Friday, even though I know it's a Thursday. It's the works have shut down. We got 6 inches of snow, which in Arkansas is paralyzing because we don't really have any snow plows. So I just watched it all come down all day today and played around.
Canada.
Yeah, you get a lot more snow than we do, I would think. For probably a longer period. I don't know. How close to the Arctic Circle are you there?
I'm in Ottawa, Ontario right now, so there's that whole trucker situation going on. So not only is there a lot of snow, but there's a lot of people like just honking their horns and just it's kind of a mess right now.
Well, we can hear you just fine, and as long as you don't have to go downtown, you should be good to go here. So this is your is this your second campaign, or did you run the issue 0 with issue 1 last time?
This is my third campaign actually. So I did one for the prelude. I did one for issue number 1, and now it's for issue number 2.
All right, and obviously you met goal and fulfilled on each of those because you're still at it and still progressing.
That's right.
How is this one comparing to the previous ones? Now that you're sort of getting some momentum going.
Yeah, I'd say like it's definitely like a huge improvement in terms of like the story and the art. So like for instance, like I was on Indie Volts 2 nights ago, and everybody was going on about like how much like my artist improved from like the last issue. So if you're a fan of like the first issue of Echoes of the Triumphant, you'll definitely like the sequel to it, because my artist Jared Bazina like goes out of his way to just like bring so much like color and personality to every single page and every single character and every single setting. And so yeah, I'm really excited to see what people think about it.
It's funny how the more you do something, the better you get at it. So
Right.
glad to hear that he's improving. And I could see in the trailer the artwork was really looking sharp there. It still looks indie. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I wouldn't say that he's ready for a spot on a flagship title of a mainstream character, but you don't want to see that in indie comics because you print differently. You want to see sort of that more raw, primitive talent on display. So tell us a little bit about this world, the Echoes of the Triumphant, because it's obviously a world of humans and metahumans or transformed humans. Something's happened in this world to make things different.
Yeah, so basically the best way to describe it is that it's almost like The Boys, in the sense that like it's a worst case scenario world if like superhumans existed. So in the context of the story, there was this chemical plant explosion, and a bunch of people got mutated and tweaked. And so instead of people becoming caped crusaders, like the government and the wealthy kind of took like extreme measures, and they're doing everything they can to just like keep like these superhumans at bay. And so they're forcing them to work in like really exploitative industries, and really it's a world where like the rich and powerful are kind of taking advantage of like the lesser people, like the tweaks in the story. So we have like our protagonist Adrian Avery. He's pretty much like caught in the middle of all this. Like not all tweaks like the rules. Obviously, they're basically treated like second-class citizens. So there's this one tweak in particular, Lionheart, who just formed like a rebel gang, and he's planning like an uprising, and it's basically like Adrian's responsibility to just kind of bring him down.
So he's leader of like a criminal gang or a anti-government gang.
Yeah, it's pretty much like like both of those. So he's definitely operating outside of the law, and so yeah.
Harrenberg is chiming in. Apparently, he has read issues 0 and 1 because he knows that tweaks are genetic misfits who are physically superior but have lost their good looks. So sci-fi and crime-fi mix. Yeah, so thank you. Harrenberg's always on top of stuff. I really appreciate having him around in the chat. And by the way, Harrenberg, we're going to be having Mark Weiss back on 2/22/22 and everyone else listening, except for you, Mr. Russian. Das Vidanya and go with God. Block you right away. We are going to be having a charity auction on that night. We've got some guests already lined up. I'm not announcing them just yet. Even though they've committed, I just want to get a little bit more. So we're going to get a charity auction together for the comicbookforkids.org. We'll be doing it on their chosen day of 2/22/22, which is a date to pretty much just kind of raise awareness of the funding charity. That's the word I'm looking for. I've only had this much. Come on. They've been at it since 2017, but this is their first annual fund drive, so to speak. So a lot of stores are getting involved. Public service announcement out of the way. Let's get back to Echoes of the Triumphant. So you got all the questions right here on the campaign page, so I don't have to think. I can just ask the questions that are here. Who will love Echoes of the Triumphant? Is this a book for like X-Men fans or The Boys fans, like you mentioned, or where would you come from as a reader and say, yeah, this is my jam?
Yeah, so definitely there's a lot of X-Men influences. I'd also say this is kind of heavily inspired by like American Psycho. So like I think that book's pretty awesome because it's basically about this guy who really cares about his image, so much so that it causes like a lot of dysfunction. And the world that I set up, everybody's pretty much in it image obsessed, and there's like a lot of rivalry, and there's a lot of like economic inequality, and um, not too many people are in touch with their sense of individuality. And so yeah, there's a lot of dysfunction in it. So yeah, X-Men and American Psycho are huge influences.
Okay, so the tweaks were activated, so to speak, made what they are from this chemical plant explosion. I would extrapolate from that there's not really a whole lot of them, as you know, as opposed to like a worldwide phenomenon of mutants appearing all over the place. Uh, I would think almost localized to a city, unless you know they've managed to just run off. Is that the case? I mean, are they really a minute minority?
Yes. So there's definitely more regular people than tweaks out there, but you know, like so basically in the context of the story, the government paid like a private military contract, and they're basically paying them to keep the tweaks in order. So like this private military contract called Expel like has this technology. They have like weapons for everything, and they're the people that are really responsible for like just keeping them in order and just uh, stopping them from resisting.
All right. Now your protagonist, first of all, I don't know who this guy is. That's not Lionheart, but that's a scary looking dude. It looks like his head's hollowed out,
Yeah.
and yet he's still alive.
He's just a random dude who just got mutated during the accident, and so he's not a big character, but like that design's really cool. So I always love seeing it.
All right. But your protagonist, Adrian Avery, he's not a tweak that I'm aware of. He's a normal human, but he still wears a mask and a sort of a uniform. Is that just the uniform that everybody who's hunting the tweaks wears, or is he something more than that?
So when we pick up the story, Adrian's he's living like a pretty unfulfilled life. Like he had this athletic career and it came to a halt. And he doesn't have a lot of friends and he hates his job. He works as a forensic accountant, and he's really looking for like a big score. So like his like job as a forensic accountant is to like find dirt on criminals and
Look
like
for money laundering.
yeah, exactly. So they need a lot of dirt on Lionheart, and so he has the responsibility to kind of figure out what he can on Lionheart by the book. But he really, really wants this promotion. He's really driven by his own self-interest. He wants a promotion just to get more money and just to be seen and to be recognized. So he kind of embarks on this reckless journey behind his boss's back, and he tries to like find whatever he can on Lionheart. And so that suit right there, it's like he ended up stealing it from somebody, and it's basically just to help him take like heavy blows from like tweaks. So in the event that like a tweak would hit him or something like that, like he would be able to take that hit. So yeah.
Okay. So he's wearing the costume pretty much to hide from his bosses that he's doing this because it's not really a sanctioned part of his job.
Exactly. And so he won't die when he gets into a fight.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
That has all the makings of an origin story of a character. I mean, Booster Gold, that's what comes to mind. Stole a suit,
Exactly.
Went somewhere, became a hero, and now he's going to be wearing it all the time. Aaron Jordan in the chat, welcome, sir. Glad to see you. Hero Press Shack is here too. So Hero Press Shack, Hero Shack Press. Again, only had this much. I don't know why all the words are coming out in the wrong order. Maybe I'm having a stroke. That would get some clicks. Gosh, podcaster strokes out online. That would be, yeah, no, I don't want that. I like this. I don't get to see this too often. You've got the finished color page here, and then you've got the raw pencils underneath of it. That's very cool to see that underlying substructure of the page. So this is where I'm guessing this is a training scene of some sort.
Yeah, pretty much. So, he tries in this issue. I don't want to give too much away, but things don't exactly go the way he wants it to, and so he's kind of talked into a training session with his sister and her friend. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's fallen his way forward.
And here's pretty much a shot that you can see that you've already done issue number 1, issue number 2. You got some strange characters here who've all been mutated. Looks like there's a 3-headed person back there. That's so some very interesting mutations, and not all of them are. I find that interesting whenever it's a caused mutation, like with the Flash. You had one energy burst, everybody gets different powers. So you would think that one energy source would give everybody the same power, but apparently not the case. Sort of like if Marvel said, well, everybody got bitten by a radioactive spider, but it was all different radiation and different spiders, so it's all different powers. But it's as good of a catalyst as anything for developing a world of superpowered people. So how big of a book is this going to be here as far as page count goes? I mean, is this your standard floppy 22?
So this issue, it's 28 pages. So there's a total. If you there's a couple rewards where you can get all issues of Echoes of the Triumphant, and that's a total of 76 pages of story.
Very cool. Well, let's take a look at those tiers then, so we can find out what we're getting here. So you can get the number 2 digital, $5 Canadian. That's like $2 in real money, people. It's my Canadian money joke. I use it way too much. But that is a deal for digital copy, and I know that we have a lot of people in our chat who have to have digital. So there you go, boys and girls. $10 you get the digital bundle. So that's all 3 issues. Like you said, it's 70 something pages of story for less than $10 US. So get on that. Are those PDFs or do you have like a fronting service that serves it up? Because I know there are 2 different ways to do it. Some people like to get the PDF in the mail, and others are like, thank you for the money. Here's the code to go to our website and unlock the book to read it.
I'm not that tech savvy for that. So it's pretty much all PDFs at the moment. Yeah.
Stick with that. I think people enjoy that more because you could have 100 issues on Comixology. As soon as Comixology goes bankrupt, which could happen to any company, you don't have a comic collection anymore. So I always prefer owning. For $10, you can get the print copy. So, and you're limiting this to a 100 issue print run, by the way.
Leading this. Yep. So there's plenty of issues that I have. So yeah.
And the shipping is built in here. So shipping to the United States is $14, $24 Canadian. Again, just take about 90% of that, and you'll know what the U.S. cost is. It's right here, $19. It's in the little gray print that I wasn't seeing. So I might just stop translating funds for people. They can read that. And for $15. Okay, so this is a digital bundle and backer credits. This is different from the other digital bundle in what way?
I don't know, like it's not too different. Basically, when the graphic novel is finished, I'm gonna have like a thank you credits page for everybody who supported Echoes of the Triumphant through this tier. So yeah, if you want your name involved in a really awesome comic, I recommend checking that out.
Okay, so you're getting the digital number 2, and you're getting a producer credit in the graphic novel yet to come. And this is book 2, so you got 2 more books.
Yeah.
Are you going to put the issue 0 in the graphic novel as well? Because I just see that it's number 1 to number 4, so I don't know if you're counting number 0 in there as well.
In a way, I'm going to incorporate certain like pages and certain panels from the prelude, just for a little bit of like exposition. Like, you don't really have to read issue number 0, but it's helpful if like it's just it's helpful for like just for pure exposition reasons. So yeah.
All right. Boy, the chat is going back and forth in scientific communication here. Not starting here, but yeah, they do have potential to be on par with mutants. And Heroenberg's bringing up epigenetics and Lamarckian evolution. Wow, the heroines unconsciously, in his universe, the heroines unconsciously will their genes to change based on their backgrounds and interests.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I heard a similar story about the Fantastic Four. Somebody did the retcon on that you know, the cosmic rays gave them powers based on their personalities. You know, Johnny was a hothead. Sue was always trying to shrink into the background, not be seen. Reed was always, you know, overreaching. So their powers became physical manifestations. Yeah, it was weird. It was like, you know, our powers are going to become physical manifestations of our personality traits. And of course, you know, Ben Grimm was just, you know, the big hard shelled on the outside, soft on the inside kind of guy. Will, good to see you here, my friend. Creators Outlet is in the chat. Getting some more people to come see Echoes of the Triumphant. Now, where does the title come in from here? Because, you know, I don't know who the Triumphant are supposed to be. I don't know what they shouted that's echoing back. It's a cool sounding title, but how does it tie to the story?
So like, I don't know. I'm trying to do like a clever play on words. So, like, this story takes place in Echo City, and it's all about, the story to me is like all about the triumph of the human spirit. So, you know, Adrian, when he starts out in the story, like he's pretty much at a low point. So, like as the story progresses, like he's gonna have like a lot of personal and just like external challenges, and yeah, this, to me, like the whole series is going to be like about the triumph of the human spirit. So I don't know. I feel as though that title is just perfect for that.
So, it sounds like you're building toward a specific end. Is this a 4-issue story, or is it just 4 issues to the graphic novel and then more chapters to come?
Yeah. So like the first arc, it spans from pretty much issue number 1 to issue number 4. So that's the first full arc to this series, and yeah, if all goes well, like I have a couple other really cool storylines I want to try out, and so I have a lot planned out for this. So yeah, I'm pretty cautiously optimistic.
All right, so we've seen pretty much all the art. Wow, I like this scene here where he's opening up the storage unit. Not quite sure about the transition here. Looks like he lifted it up and now it's closed behind him, but he's still holding it up. Not sure what I'm looking at, but I'll probably look different colored. Let's look at the rest of the tiers here. So you can, the $20 bundle is print of 0, 1, and 2. This is pretty much, you know, if you want to get everything, this is it, right?
Yep, that's right. So yeah, everything's right there. There's the next tier is that plus the backer credits,
Okay.
which I recommend people check out. And the biggest tier is a pretty cool one. It's like all rewards, and you get to be featured as like a tweak of your choosing. So there's going to be like a lot of, you know, tweaks like running around in issue number 4. So if you want to be featured, if you want to be a part of issue number 4, it can like easily just get your character involved.
Oh, that's cool. So this is not quite have yourself drawn in, but have your character drawn in
Yeah.
as a tweak.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
like it. So for $50, you get all three issues. You get your name as a credit in the graphic novel for 1 through 4, and you'll have a character that's drawn into it. So, you know,
Exactly.
I noticed you don't have a lot of things in here, like, here's a print, here's a sticker. Was that just something you didn't want to expand into that, or you just wanted to keep it? Let's focus on the book, which nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that.
Yeah. Truthfully, I'm not really familiar with how to do that. I'm still looking into it, and I'm still talking to like a bunch of people about how I can best do that. So yeah, it's definitely going to be incorporated into the next Kickstarter, but not for this one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of cheap things you can do for merch to expand. I mean, the stickers, they don't cost all that much per unit. You can go, if you go to Sticker Mule, you can go hog wild, because it's like I ordered a set of stickers, and now I've got keychains and buttons and magnets and T-shirts, because they're notorious for sending you an email that says, "Hey, we're running a special. Get 50 magnets for a donut." I'm like, well, I didn't need magnets, but now I do. So, and I've got a whole wardrobe of T-shirts, because when they started doing that, it was like, we're trying the T-shirts. Would you buy one for $9? I'm like, yeah. I sent them the design, and they sent it back. And then they said, okay, we're trying something different with the T-shirts. Like 3 weeks later, we're trying a different brand. We're trying different printing. Would you buy one for $9? I'm like, take my money. Just keep doing it. I got like 4 T-shirts in there now, because they just kept improving them. And to tell you the truth, they all look the same to me. But Sticker Mule, it's time for you to try another T-shirt, because I need 2 more at least. Start sending them to my friends and stuff.
That's pretty good. A $9 T-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe T-shirts is something that you'll get to at some point when you've got the graphic novel ready. Now, this is interesting. This is like an Andy Warhol print of Lionheart.
Yeah, so we were just kind of at that stage. We were just kind of testing things out and seeing, which design looked best. So yeah, my artist just came up with that, and we went with like a black design with the character, because it just looked aesthetically just best, I guess. Like the black design just sort of like fit well with the story. So yeah.
It's like his arms are bare, but he's wearing a business suit. So it's like a sleeveless business suit.
Exactly. Yeah, he's what was I gonna say? Yeah, he's a crime boss. So like, he's the head of the organization. So he's sort of, yeah, has to dress that way.
He's got to dress for respect. Pops
Exactly.
Van Zant in the chat. Welcome, sir. Glad to see you here. So we just went over the rewards on the left, but or on the right, but they're a little bit easier to see here. The bigger print, plus they don't get blocked out by Kickstarter when you hover over them. Although they don't do it now. They do it on. When you expand it, they don't do it, I guess. So here's your print copy. Is this representative of the cover? I mean, what do you have the cover available? Did I pass it?
Oh, the cover. I don't have it on the Kickstarter, the cover. But it's on my Instagram, and Reverb at Reverb Comics. So yeah, I forgot to add that.
I'm putting the link to your Instagram out there in the chat for people to copy and paste and get to. And I don't think I put an HTTP on it, so it probably won't go. You might have to copy and paste that one, folks. Yeah, you might want to get the cover put on here as an update real soon.
That would have been a good idea.
I know we're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but the cover is what sells the book. So, now, is this Adrian here again, or because that looks like a different mask? That looks like a different character.
Yeah. That's actually Adrian's brother. So Adrian's brother Martin, he's kind of a cool character in the sense that he's kind of like kind of like John Constantine in the sense that like he's not like an alpha. He's not he's not necessarily like the punching or kicking type, but he's sort of like he's kind of a deceitful person. He's somebody who knows how to like get in and out of places, gather information, and sort of like use that against people. So when we pick up the story, Martin was with Lionheart's gang. Adrian didn't really agree with him, but he just Martin pretty much like just jumps away from Lionheart's gang because he thinks he's getting just way too extreme, and he sort of like starts Adrian on his like hero's journey. He brings this to Adrian's attention, and he really gets Adrian moving.
Now, is he a tweak as well as the other guys, or is he also a normal human with?
Yeah, so he's a tweak. Basically, he has the power to like tap into any electronic device. So it's not really a useful power unless you're pretty smart and savvy and clever. So it definitely it leads to pretty interesting action sequences with him.
All right, and you do have some stretch goals here. So well, look at this. We talked about merch, and you do have merch, and here it is, the T-shirt. And for this, you need to hit $1,500 Canadian. I'm assuming it's still Canadian. So what was do you recall what you got on your last campaign total?
It was just under like $500.
Okay. So I didn't know if that was like, hey, we almost got here last time. Let's really try to get here this time. But I don't think $1,500 for a stretch goal is all that unreasonable for an independent comic. So I think that's a good goal. And then you got the 2,500 one will be a ball cap with the Reverb Comics logo. Again, good marketing there. In both instances, because it's your brand rather than your character. I think early on, no one knows your character. No one loves your character as much as you do. So no one wants to wear it on a shirt, but they might wear a comic book company logo because that comic book company will make more and more books down the road, and they'll be like, hey, I'm OG. Got it on. Wow. Okay, so the budget, you do need to make about $5,000 here to pay for the art and the printing all together, and to show sort of a profit at that. You concerned at all? I mean, if this you have been funded, haven't you? Let me see. No, but you're real close.
Yeah. Okay. So
you're gonna get funded.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much anything helps. So yeah. That's all I can say about the budget.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you don't want to dig too much into financials. It's just that, I'd hate to see you get to like, $600 and then you've got to come up with the other $4,200 yourself. That's, you can dig a hole for the first couple of issues, but after a while you can't keep digging that hole, or you just don't recover from it. You can also get add-ons. So if you don't pick the all-in-one, or maybe you just missed one of the issues, you can just add on whatever issue you want at the through contacting you.
Yep.
So it's just a direct contact. You're not using like the add-on capability that Kickstarter has built in.
No, I'm not using that. So basically, I pretty much love it when people contact me via email. So yeah. All
right. So I just scrolled down here. I normally don't stop down here on the about characters because I'm like, he's right there. But body of a meathead, mind of a geek. Okay, I have to ask, what's up with that?
I guess it's just because like nobody really assumes that I don't know, like I'm a huge like comic book enthusiast. So yeah, I've always been kind of a pretty active guy. Like before COVID, like I was really into boxing and stuff like that. So like it's yeah, nobody really assumes that I'm a bit of a bookworm. So yeah.
So your skill in boxing, does that translate into your story in any way? I mean, do you work with your artists, say, hey, they're in a fight, but that's a really bad stance. It should look more like this.
Sometimes, like, basically what I do is that I kind of research things a bit, and I just kind of like say for like jujitsu or something like that. Like there needs to be like a lot of like setup for that. So yeah, I really put a lot of detail into those like those pages and those panels with those like fight sequences. So I try to make them as cool and interesting as possible.
Yeah, there's a whole different style of art into choreographing a fight sequence in a comic book and making it look, because in the 70s it was like, it's a punch, it's a kick, but now when you start doing things like jujitsu, and somebody who's reading it says, oh, he says he's doing jujitsu, what the hell is that he's pulling out there? That's nothing in the manual at all. People are catching it. So the more specific you get about something, the more you better know what you're talking about when you actually pull it off. So what's the delivery date on this looking like? You're gonna be shipping this one out in March. You're that close to being done?
Yeah. So we have like every single page finished. We have the cover finished. We have the ISBN barcode and the credits page finished. Currently, I'm just like working with a teammate of mine, and we're just in the designing stage of Echoes of the Triumphant #2. So we're just like putting like the final pieces together, and then I imagine in about I'm not sure, maybe 3 weeks or so, we'd be ready to take that to print, and then we should be ready by March.
Oh, excellent. So folks, this thing's done. It's a done deal. Herwinberg just said to hit the like button here, but don't worry about the like button so much as hit the pledge button over here, because this is a book that's finished. Obviously, the previous books are already finished or coming out of stock. If you want to get 3 comics for what was it again for the print? Let's get down. Work with me, scroller. It's here somewhere. There we go. The print bundle. We'll just stop with that one. Minimum you have to spend for 3 comic books is about $27 US. And that includes the shipping from Canada. So, and it's not like you couldn't get it from Canada to here. There's a bunch of trucks there right now to load one onto. So, it's just, you can find somebody who'll carry it down here when they come back. Not a problem. Pat, is there anything about Echoes of the Triumphant that story-wise or development-wise that we haven't touched on that should be brought up for people to know about?
I think we pretty much covered everything. To me, I think what's most important, there's a lot of cool and sci-fi and weird stuff put into the comic, but to me, the most important thing is just the triumph of the human spirit. I think stories like that are really really important, and so I really recommend that people check this out, because just the main theme, in my opinion, is just perseverance. So all these characters are going to be tested in really grounded and gritty ways and really real ways. So that's why I'm super passionate about the project, and yeah, people should definitely check it out.
Now, is this your first attempt at writing a comic book? Have you done anything else before in the indie scene, or?
No, not really. This is this is pretty much my first series. So yeah. So it's I've learned a lot these past couple of years. So
oh yeah.
Yeah, I definitely grew a lot as a person, as a writer.
So this being your first one, what prompted you to say, I want to do this? I mean, you've got a day job, you're making money. Is it just because you're a comics reader, a comics fan, and just wanted to take part in it, or was there something that pushed you?
Yeah, well, it was a couple of things, I guess. So basically, right after I graduated from university, I was doing okay, and I just sort of said to myself, I might as well do it, because right now I don't have that many responsibilities. I don't have like a family or anything like that. I don't have like kids to take care of, so I just thought that this is like my only shot at doing it. So I went ahead and did it. And the other reason too is that I don't know about like the other people in Ottawa, but like I find that there's not too many comic book enthusiasts in Ottawa. So I really like doing this because I get to talk, about something that I'm really passionate about, and I get to connect with people who have like a lot in common with me. So yeah, it's been a really cool opportunity.
That's the wonders of the internet and this whole networking thing that's built up around crowdfunded comics and all the podcasts. I that's why I do this. I just love meeting all the different people and what they're doing. There's such a variety of stories out there,
Exactly.
and the publishers. It's more than just DC and Marvel, folks. I know, and I know we all know that, but when I was a kid growing up, and I've mentioned this before, all the comics in the world were printed in the town where I grew up, at the printing plant there, and then they were distributed around the world. So DC and Marvel comics, I just went, to a friend's house whose parents worked there, and they were always bringing home the print overruns, just like day old donuts, So I was kept well stocked, and it was just like one day, suddenly the printing plant started doing PC, Ms. Mystic, Star Slayer, First Comics, American Flag, Eagle Comics, Judge Dredd. And I was like, I don't know what these are, but I better hide them because they're not DC or Marvel. I might not be allowed to keep these. They were awesome. I loved every single one of those things. And some of them did deserve to be hidden under the bed. But for the most part, they were just a cool, new, fresh take. And we need to keep that going with this indie scene that we've got here, because we have more mainstream now than just DC and Marvel. We got Boom, we got Dark Horse, we've got IDW, but it's the guys who are doing the craft comics that that's where you're going to find your next hidden gem. That's what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was. That was a craft comic, and it hit creative gold. So you don't know what you're going to. You don't know what the next one's going to be, and it's going to come out of this Kickstarter Indiegogo world, and it's not going to be Cyber Frog. I'm sorry to say that it's going to be something small and not quite as announced as loudly.
And also, the indie comic scene sort of keeps Marvel and DC on their toes. So, I mean, without it, like there wouldn't be, like DC or Marvel wouldn't like want to pump out like good stories. So
yeah.
Well, everybody's just at their best.
True. I mean, it keeps them looking. I think what they do is they look and they find upcoming talent, and rather than compete against it, they just say, "That's a really good book you got there. Why don't you come work for us and quit making that book?" and then monetize them. I'm trying to think if there's anything more to ask, but I think that's covered it all. So.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, with that in mind, Pat, thank you for coming on the show tonight and bringing Echoes of the Triumphant with you. I'm going to keep an eye on this one because I'm sure it's going to fund. I want to see it when it does. It's over halfway there, so should be. It's 2 days in. And you know how these things go. You get that 2-day spike, and then it's leveling off forever. And then, oh crap, it's almost done. Better get in on it, and it'll spike again. And you should fund well before then. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for showing up tonight. We don't have a show without you. And while you were here, of course, we just hope that you had a blast. Good night.